Top 5 Cultural Shocks You Might Experience in South Korea. The definition of culture shock is the anxiety and uncomfortable feeling towards the changes when you encounter in unfamiliar situations while living in an environment different from your own country. You may go through the feeling of discomfort and even disgust when you suffer from culture shock. So, if you have a mind to visit or live in Korea, you should know several things about Korea in advance. Many expats discuss the culture shock they experienced while living or traveling in South Korea online, through YouTube videos or their personal blogs. They also give advice, which can be very useful to potential travelers planning to visit Korea, as it comes from their own personal experiences. So here's the list of top 5 cultural shocks you might experience in South Korea. Number 1. Cafes are everywhere. You may mistakenly conclude that Koreans love to drink coffee, but the real reason is related to Korean culture. Since renting an apartment is extremely expensive for young Koreans, inviting friends over to one's house is not common in South Korea. Therefore, the younger generation prefer to hang out with their friends outside their homes in places like cafes. Korean coffee consumption has also been rising incredibly. Koreans now drink an average of 12.3 cups of coffee per week, an amount far higher than even a decade ago. Cafes became an important part of modern Korea. Second on the list is sharing food from the same dish. If you are from a country where everyone has their own plate and do not share food together, this may be a shock for you. In Korea, sharing food is a big part of Korean culture. Sharing the food, or, in other words, eating from the same bowl, is very common, so don't be surprised when you see your local friends dipping their spoons and chopsticks into a big pot of soup or side dishes. For Koreans, having a meal together is not only eating but also sharing mind together and getting closer to each other. If you feel uncomfortable using the same dish together, you should ask someone to give you another plate beforehand. They will be happy to do that. Number 3. Girlfriends holding hands. Don't be bewildered when you see two Korean ladies holding hands or walking arm in arm in Korea. This kind of gesture, which is called 팔짱 is to show their close relationship and their bond is strong, like sisters. You will often see two Korean students, mostly girls, doing this. Also you will see this between a daughter and a mother as well. This is a friendly gesture, so do not be confused when you see this on the street. Koreans say that it just shows a close friendship and a normal thing to do. So, if you are a female, linking arms or holding hands are nothing to be surprised for. Number 4. Koreans don't hold doors for you. Every country has different manners. If you were told to be polite and hold the door for the next person, don't be offended if native Koreans do not return the favor. Instead of holding the door for the person behind you, some Koreans will push the door very hard, so that it doesn't close quickly, allowing the person behind them to rush inside or out while the door is open. In Korea, people rarely thank one another for gestures of courtesy, for example holding open doors, nor do they generally apologize if they bump into one another on the street. Koreans are reasonably punctual and usually prompt. They tend to try and make the most of the time they have. Last on the list, number 5. Free Wi-Fi everywhere. Finding free Wi-Fi in Korea is a lot easier than you think, because Wi-Fi is virtually everywhere in Korea. Every cafe in Korea, especially Seoul, will provide free Wi-Fi services. You can even use free Wi-Fi on subway and at open public spaces. Look for a sign that says Wi-Fi zone. You want to use free Wi-Fi? Simply turn on the Wi-Fi button and look through the list. You will easily find some. These free provides usually require you to add some personal information or make you watch an advertisement, which lasts about a minute until you can use the free Wi-Fi for a minimum 60 minutes to a maximum 24 hours. With this we come to an end to the top 5 cultural shocks you might experience in South Korea. If you think we missed something on the list, let us know down in the comments. And what are the cultural shocks travelers might experience in your country? We would love to hear them. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more upcoming contents. It really gives us motivation to keep making good videos for every one of you.